Hello, boys and girls. It's me, the Frito Bandido. You know what I heard about you? I heard you want to be a Frito Bandido like me. You too? Then you must sing the Bandido song. Let's sing together.
When we think of Hispanics, what are the mental constructs we have in our head? What is the picture we see before anything else? The very definition of stereotype describes a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing, or a person or thing that conforms to such an image. It is safe to say over the years film has stereotyped characters and exploited the different characteristics of a minority group into labeling certain traits as negative features. The same goes for Latinos. Here we will explore a vast overview of the stereotypes of Hispanics. A brief history of the 6 typical stereotypes, Part 1.
The good. The bad. The ugly.
There were actually more stereotypes in the narrative of these Hollywood movies. However, these were the main characters that were usually used to meet the status quo. These characters were the essential formula used to integrate diversity within Hollywood films. For performers of color, this lack of power is exacerbated because Hollywood filmmaking has predominantly been a white enterprise. El Bandido basically encompasses dirtiness, ugliness, sneakiness, ignorance, and a proclivity towards criminality and violence, and is also known to be lazy, dirty, dishonest, immoral, and with a low regard towards life. The characteristics of the Bandito are racial. Darker skin immediately marks him as an individual outside the white Anglo norm. And other, he is different and perhaps suspect because of that. He presents a threat to the dominant society's purported racial purity. National. He is obviously not a North American as such a person has been defined in the popular consciousness by movies and history books. His nationality, other. Behavioral. Will act in predictably despicable, antisocial, sneaky, violent, criminal ways. Psychological. Based on his actions, he is a simple-minded sociopath. He is maladjusted and unstable, alcoholic and sadistic, and a sexual psychopath. Moral. He is either immoral, he knows the difference between right and wrong but chooses to ignore it, or amoral. For him there is no dividing the line between right and wrong. Ideological. Stands against the nation's values and ideals. His very existence threatens dominant American ideology.
You ever go to Jack in the Box and the voice that comes out of the speaker has a Mexican accent? What the Jack in the Box? Can I take your order? What the fuck's going on in there? Welcome to Jack in the Box. Can I take your order? ¿Quiere algo, cabrón? You want something?
The other stereotypes include the male buffoon. Serving as second banana comic relief, classic male buffoons from TV, WASP American mainstream. Cannot master standard English. I think, Lucy, you got some splainin' to do. The harlot. Female stereotype corresponding to El Bandido. A slave to her passion. An inherent nymphomaniac. Very lusty and hot-tempered. Without a man, she is a leaf in the wind. The female clown. A counterpart of the Latino male buffoon, and like the harlot, exemplifies a common device that the Hollywood narrative employs to neutralize the screen Latina's sexuality. A generally sullied, made promiscuous and criminal, or ridiculed portrayal as sexually easy, or simply silly and comical, the Latin lover. A dashing and magnetic male, usually the other, the Valentino Latin lover is a possessor of a primal sexuality that made him capable of making a sensuous, but dangerous and clearly non-WASP brand of love. The dark lady. The female Latin lover is virginal, inscrutable, aristocratic, and erotically appealing precisely because of these characteristics. Keeping a cool distance makes her fascinating to Anglo males.
Part 2. The Sci-Fi Sympathetic Aliens. The immigration problem, though it is far from an open one, since it constantly comes to the same conclusion. The status quo can be maintained only by exclusion. Aliens still solidify a difference that could impact the world. There is a necessity for the sympathetic aliens leaving Earth and returning home. Movies such as Close Encounters, Cocoon, E.T., The Last Starfighter, and Splash all return the aliens to their natural habitats by human agents. The alien allows us to have it both ways. We can appreciate the aliens and learn from them. But in the end, we must return to normality by sending them home for their own good, because they could not survive in the United States. Their new Earth environment was life-threatening, and the human heroes do the aliens a favor. The alien others are fully disguised symbols for immigrants and Hispanics. The cause of these cinematic distortions because of the increasing concerns about loss of jobs or the drain of social services that the Immigration Reform Act sought to redress. The subliminal formula used in traditional Hollywood films, for example, The Terminator, the alien here, a futuristic bandolero, is a cyborg, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, from the future. The movie illustrates a two-pronged answer to the alien invasion, implicit in the logic of the racist argument, eliminating them and maintaining Anglo-Saxon racial purity. In the Terminator film's text, if the right man and the right woman join sexually, the human race has a chance not only to create a future savior of the race, but also to maintain the racial purity needed to defeat the aliens. In Terminator, the male character, Kyle, explains the anatomy of the machine.
How could that man just get up after you did?
It's not a man, machine. Terminator. Underneath it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled, fully armored, very tough. But outside it's living human tissue.
Sarah says to Kyle once she has fully comprehended the severity of the crisis and its irreversible human implications. It'll never be over, will it? No. It will never be over because we already let too many of them in.
Friday, we got fucking bitches, and it's fucking time to party, I said.
Shut the door, I said, what's wrong with you? Don't you got no manners?
Hey, fucking snapper. Shit, we're not gonna close the door until you come out and party with us all day.
Let me think about it. Count my money, party with bitches. Hundreds and fifties, big ass titties. Count the green, get in between those titties. Simone, let's party!
Blue Diamond Phillips.
Part 3. Hispanic Cholos, Gangsters. Denzin refers to movies such as American Me, Bound by Honor, Colors, Stand and Deliver. Berg explains this narrative genre of Hispanic films are of the third wave Chicano cinema dating from 1980. He constitutes these films as the marking key elements of Chicano culture, including the themes of family, gangs, community, church, resistance, culture affirmation, and border crossing. A narrative that challenges the traditional assimilation narratives, a foreign, threatening, real film wrapped into one package. Even though this marked as an outlet for Latino filmmakers to get their start, it is still seen today in movies such as Training Day, The Next Friday, and 187. Although I respect the steady progression of how Latinos have developed their image to overcome the typical stereotypes, movies with brown hood references and zoot suits and homeboy films are just as integral as blaxploitation films for African Americans. But what kind of image are Hispanics making of themselves now? Are Hispanics always going to be left in the shadows of accomplishing the American dream? Will Hispanics still continue to only accept the jobs naturalized Americans will not take, such as service, maintenance, and grueling construction jobs?
Conclusion. With the Hispanic population growing into a majority, Latinos may be able to break these stereotypes. However, black Latinos will still have to face the racial barrier as well as Latinas with a sexist one. Look carefully the next time you watch a film. Notice the narrative, characters, and how they're all mingled together to form the perceptions of what could quite possibly address the issues today. There are a lot of unanswered questions. Film stereotypes will never die. They just take on different forms. So watch carefully and be enlightened.
You just follow the bouncing Fritos corn chips bag. Ay, 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 ay. I am the Frito Bandido. I like Fritos corn chips. I love them, I do. I want Fritos corn chips. I'll get them from you. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, I am the Frito Bandito. Give me Fritos corn chips and I'll be your friend. The Frito Bandido, you must not offend.